Today we'll be making caramel custard, a British dish that is very popular in most of Europe. However, the origins of it may have come from Spain or France. And so what we're going to need is a mixing bowl, a tin, a sieve, a whisk, a wooden spoon, a stainless steel pan, ramekins, a measuring cup, and a pot. For the caramel, we will use 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 6 tablespoons of water. Heating the stove, you're going to add your sugar and your water and mix until the sugar is completely dissolved in the water. Once it comes to like a caramel light brown color, then you will take it off heat and pour it into the buttered ramekins, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. So now that the sugar is dissolved, I'm going to leave it alone and wait for it to boil and turn to a caramely color. So you'll want to turn on your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and you'll want to put your ramekins inside so that way they heat up a little bit. So when you butter them, everything will kind of smooth out easily inside. So now that the sugar is dissolved, you're going to want to leave it alone. And it's tempting to stir it, but we don't want to stir it, otherwise the caramel will crystallize and then it's a big mess. And so it'll boil until it turns like a dark copper color, but you don't want it to be brown because that means that it's burnt. You're going to have your stick of butter, and it can be salted or unsalted, it's your preference. And you'll want to have like a kind of a cloth to grab the ramekin with, because these are going to be a little bit hot because they're sitting in the oven warming up. And you want to kind of grab it, and then you'll want to butter your ramekins. You want to get inside and all around, and you want to make sure you do this before the caramel is done, so that way it doesn't stick to the pan. You'll do this with all of your ramekins. So this will be the color, and you'll want to gently pour it into your ramekins. So custard is a thick egg base with milk, so it's very creamy, and this can be in a frozen or heated form, and in this dish it will be heated. For the custard, we're going to use 6 eggs, 4 whole eggs, 2 yolks, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 600 milliliters of milk, and about 1 ounce of sugar. So vanilla, and then our sugar, and then 2 egg yolks. So here we're going to separate the yolk from the egg. We're going to do this with 2 of our eggs, and then afterwards we're going to mix it in with the rest of our mix. Here's my little sous chef, Cooper. So then you're going to take this and turn it into this by whisking the batter. So now we're going to take our 600 milliliters of milk, and we're going to put it in our pot to heat up, so that way it's warm but not too warm. Turn it to medium heat and keep checking your milk, so just a little bit of a dip of your finger. Make sure that it doesn't get too hot for you to be too comfortable in, because then once it boils it ruins and it curdles your custard. Now you're going to want to butter all of your ramekins to make sure the custard easily comes out. Now that your milk is warm enough, you're going to want to pour it through a sieve to make sure there's nothing there, and you're going to want to whisk into your mixture. After whisking the mixture, now we're going to pour into our ramekins that have the caramel inside of it. So now you'll have your boiling water, and you'll want to fill your tin or your pan about halfway full, so that way the bottoms of your caramel. And then you're going to want to put it into your oven and let it cook for about 20 minutes. And so we're going to put our custards into the oven and we're going to let them cook for about 20 to 30 minutes at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to want to check them close to that 20-30 minute range to make sure there are no bubbles around the edges. And so this is what your custards will look like, flat on top with no bubbles, and then we're going to put them in the fridge to let them sit overnight. And so now to take them out, you're going to take a flat-edged knife and kind of gently go around the edges, and then take it, flip it over onto a plate, and give it a good little shake, not too hard, and then gently pull it off, and it should come out easily because you have buttered your ramekin. And there you go, homemade caramel custard. And here I've provided the recipe.